This is not your grandma's TV tray. To get started, take the tray outside and sand down the legs to refresh the wood and remove any rough surfaces. For the top, I'm using an orbital sander to create a smooth surface for painting. I'm going for a neutral look with Ashen Raw Silk Mineral Paint, rolling it on the top and sides with end-to-end strokes for a flawless, professional finish. Once dry, I'll add a custom touch with a stenciled pattern. The secret to a sharp image is using a nearly dry brush, tap the paint through the stencil, overlapping the pattern along the edges until the entire surface is covered. Since this will be used for drinks, I'm protecting the new design with a natural finishing oil, wiped back with a rag. The result is a stunning side table that blends perfectly with modern decor. However, that's just one example. Here's more. Try painting the legs black or adding wood slats for a vintage crate look that works as a desk extension or an oversized coaster. This coffee-themed side table looks gorgeous as an accent piece holding my plants and is also perfectly themed to serve up my coffee. If you make over your TV trays in tones that work with any room in your home, you will have so many fun opportunities to switch them out in different spaces.
Do you have various baskets that have accumulated in your home? Find a basket that is rectangular in shape. Take a bit of strong twine and push it through a space in the weave of the basket, about a third of the way in on the long side. Tie the twine in a knot close to the top edge of the basket. Then create a loop by tying another knot in the twine about an inch above the edge. Using a straight edge and a level, lightly draw a line on the wall. Hammer 2 hooks into the wall using the level line as your guide. Now hang your basket on the wall. Since this is in our garage, I am storing lawn bags, grocery bags, and umbrellas for spring and summer. Then, when colder weather hits, this will be the perfect place to toss scarves, hats, and gloves. Find a round basket tray at home or at a thrift store. Then grab one of those inexpensive wire waste baskets at the dollar store. You want the circumference of the basket to be similar to the widest part of the waste basket. Take some twisted rope from the dollar store and start to wind it around the outer edge of the waste basket, hot gluing the edge as you go along. Continue to wrap and glue the rope to the wastebasket until the entire basket is covered. You can leave the bottom of the basket clear. As you glue, gently press down on the rope so it lines up alongside the previously glued rope. Now take your round basket tray and apply a line of hot glue. Place the basket on top of the rope-wrapped wastebasket. Whether for storage or for a buffet display, this is a great way to hold plates or napkins for entertaining. Remember those old tray tables from the 80s? You can find them at thrift stores. I found one tucked away in our garage. Give the tray table a coat of paint in the color of your choice with some spray paint. Be sure to spray the legs and underside of the tray table as well. Find another basket that is roughly the same size as the top of the tray table, but a rectangular shaped basket will work best. Apply some hot glue to the top of the painted tray table and place the tray basket on top, pressing down until the glue dries. Style your new basket tray table with the decorating magic number of 3 items. Try a stack of books, a green plant, and a decorative object.
I've got an old folding table that needs to be resurfaced, and I was inspired by Lindsay from repurposeandupcycle.com. As you can see, it's full of stains and paint from all the stuff that I used to do on it. First thing we got to do is get it cleaned up. We don't want any dust or any imperfections on it. Just wipe it off, make sure it's dry. Next, we need some liquid wood. Retique makes a perfect product for this. Once you do get it, make sure you get it stirred. If there's any settling, we want it mixed in. And it's just like paint. We're just going to go ahead and start painting away. Now, we want to make sure we cover every square inch of the table. You also don't need to put on too thick of a coat, but we don't want too thin. We just want to make sure it's covered. Use a regular brush and just put it on. Make sure it's a good quality brush though. We don't want to lose any bristles. As you can see, I'm just covering every bit of this table that I can. Long strokes back and forth. Now, this is not like painting a wall where you just got to make it perfect. This stuff goes on good. Just put it on. Make sure you, again, like I said, cover every bit. And don't forget those sides. We want to make sure everything is covered. Now, here's the first coat. I know it doesn't look that good, but don't worry. You can put a second coat if you want. but I'm going to show you the magic of this. We're going to go ahead and put that second coat on because this is the one we're going to work with. Now, on the second coat, I did put it a little thicker than I did with the first one. Make sure that it dries 2 hours in between. Now, this right here is called a graining tool. It is absolutely perfect for what we're going to do. It's going to give that table a good old-fashioned wood look. Now, using a rocking motion, you're going to take that graining tool and go back and forth. Look at those grains come through. It actually looks like an old wood table. Now, there's actually no wrong way to do this. Just keep going back and forth and rocking the graining tool as you go. Just start on one end of the table and go all the way to the other. And it's super easy to clean off after you're done. If there is any imperfections just like this, no worries. Before it dries, go ahead and take that paint and put it right back on. You can actually go over the grain that you've already done, because once you get that paint on, using a rocking motion again, use your graining tool, and it just takes care of that. Now, once it's dried for about 2 hours, look at those grains come through. But we're not done yet. It's time to stain. I like to go with a darker stain than normal because look at that. Again, like I've said before, you can already see that wood grain coming right through. Now, I am putting it on a little thick. I typically do that with my stain, but that's okay because once we get it on, take a lint-free cloth and you're going to take it right off. What's going to happen is this stain is going to stick to those grains and it's going to make it look really good. So get it all off, and once you do that, it's time we got to protect the stain. We're going to use a water-based polyurethane. Now it goes on a milky color, but don't worry, once it dries, it is crystal clear. So just go ahead and put it all over. If you need to put a second coat, you can. This table looks amazing. All the stain colors are completely gone, and it looks like a brand new faux wood table. I hope this inspired you to refinish your old tables to make them look like a new wood stained table. I've got an old card table and it is in rough shape. What we're going to do is get rid of all the paper and everything on the front and get rid of that finish. We want to get down to the bare wood. Next, I'm going to go to pallets. Yes, we are going to get some pallet wood, but watch what we do. We're going to cut it down the strips and then we're going to pull them out. It's easier to do it that way, and all we got to do is take off the nails. Just pound the nails on the back side. Once you get them all the way over, just go ahead and take your claw hammer and pull it on out. You can get rid of that nail. We don't need that anymore. Next, I will admit, I kind of cheated on this. I went ahead and had a planer. That way I could get a flat side on one side of the boards. You can use a sander. It's just a little bit faster, and it's easier to do it this way, especially with all the boards I got to cut. Next, we're going to take that table and we're going to find the middle. We're going to draw a line all the way down because that gives us a guide as we're placing the wood to make sure we're going in the right direction. First thing I did was make a little triangle. This is our starter piece. I'm going to take some wood glue and put it all the way on the back. The thing is, wood glue is stronger than you think. Go ahead and cover the whole back, and I marked and flipped it over. Again, like I said, this is the starter piece, so I'm going to clamp it down so it gets a good hold. Next, I'm going to take an old rough piece, turn it over, and glue down the sanded side. We want that rough looking side to face up. And here's the reason. I'm going for an old rustic look. So once I get this cut, I'm going to line it up. Now it's going to hang over the side of the table. Don't worry about that now. What we do want to line up is the joints on the top. See how those are lined up? And then I'm going to alternate some of the sanded side with the old rustic side. And we're going with different size pieces of wood. If you notice, this one's a little smaller, but it's really nice. It's got some gray in it, so I like that look. We're going to keep alternating all the way down the table and putting on pieces as we go. Once we get to the very end, we're going to put that last piece on and cover the corner. Next, we're going to take our saw and square up the sides. I used a guide to go ahead and use it on my saw. I want square sides all the way down. Once those sides are squared up, I'm going to put some trim pieces on. I use new wood for this instead of the old rustic stuff just to give it a nice look. I'm going to brad nail those in and glue them and give it a nice trim on the sides. These are about 3.5 inches wide. Once it's all glued up and dried, I'm going to use some clear polyurethane. Now, I went with a semi-gloss on this, but you can go with just a satin if you want. It looks a little messy, but trust me, you can't go wrong with polyurethane. Just put it on 4 coats. Once we get it all set up, look at this beautiful table. And the great thing is, not only is it beautiful, but it still folds up. That way I can fold it away and bring it out when guests arrive. It can be an extra place setting or a dessert table. I think it turned out absolutely amazing, and the great thing about it is I took old palettes that were free, an old table that was free, and just a labor of love to turn it into this beautiful work of art. I hope you like this new upcycle palette table as much as I do. Thank you for watching Home Talk, and we'll catch you next time.